You know, I got to tell you guys, after Donald Trump won the election, there has been such meltdowns to astronomical proportions that it's really hard to keep up with all the meltdowns. And I know you guys have been sending me all the memes, all the videos, all the hilarious content that's available to nitpick through. But at the end of the day, it's just a lot to keep up with. However, what I will say is that when it comes to the gaming industry, they are melting down. It's seemingly extra hard because now we have picture proof of what seems to be Activision Blizzard employees appearing to contemplate violence following Donald Trump's election win.
Also, my life is extremely going downhill because I'm getting acne and I'm getting fat and I'm balding right here. If you can't see the whole triangle, that is like a piece of hair. I'm balding. I'm balding. I'm turning ugly. And my face is getting fat for the rest of the day. And I can't even shower before work because I'm not going to be at home on time.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we kind of all saw this coming, right? Like weeks before the election, we were saying that if Donald Trump were to win, the amount of meltdowns that would happen, that would ensue after the victory would be astronomical. We all saw that. We all said that. We all predicted that. I think that's pretty fair and that's pretty easy to predict. But Activision Blizzard being caught red-handed with pictures shared by Grums, I think is insane, considering that he used to work there, right? So I feel like he still has connections there to some extent. And to get this kind of information and to put it out there for everybody to see just proves how insane these people actually are. So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So again, it says alleged Activision Blizzard employee appears to contemplate violence following Donald Trump's election victory. An alleged Activision Blizzard employee appears to have begun not only contemplating violence, but sharing it with others in an internal company Slack. Former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, aka Grums, shit. You know, Grums has the longest title. It's always former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, aka Grums. It's like so long. Shared a screenshot of an alleged internal Slack communication that shows an anonymous Activision Blizzard employee writing the following: "It must be working on redacted, making me more violent, but I have never been more tempted to buy a gun." Grums commented more Slack leaks from Activision Blizzard. Dev contemplate gun violence. Other devs now see the benefit of armed self-defense. They are losing it. And if you look at this picture here, it's insane. It's obviously he blurred out, you know, you don't want to show their names or anything like that. I get that. So he blurred it out, but you can see it right here. Look at this, night and day. It must be working on blank, making me more violent, but I have never been more tempted to buy a gun. Arm the left, this person says. This person says, after all, an armed minority is harder to oppress, with the gun emojis. And then this person says, if you can afford it, get life insurance. No one fights harder than insurance companies. And if more minorities get them, then it'll be harder for hate crime to get swept under the rug. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. How many of these people who said this are probably white? Let's be real. How many of them are probably white? If you really genuinely believe that you are suddenly going to wake up a slave tomorrow because Donald Trump got elected president of the United States, then you deserve to be retarded. You really do. I just don't understand how anybody could be that stupid. Donald Trump being elected president of the United States is not going to suddenly make you a slave tomorrow. That's not how this shit works. And he's not trying to oppress minorities. What are you going to tell all the minorities who actually voted for Donald Trump, including myself? Who are you going to tell? Like, I mean, what are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell them? What are they, self-hating? Every single one of them is a self-hating Hispanic or a self-hating black person. That's the coping and seething that you're willing to go to try to spin this narrative in your favor. Are we really doing this right now? Grums previously shared from an inside source that devs are melting down after the election. About half of the office is losing their mind. I'm sure. You know, if you think about all of these woke studios that are out there, some of them are worse than Activision Blizzard. Can you imagine what it must have been like at 343 Industries? Can you imagine? Well, I'm sorry, Halo Studios now. Can you imagine what it must have been like at Insomniac Games, for example? Or can you imagine what it must have been like at Ubisoft? Ubisoft of all companies? Can you imagine? It must have been insane. These people must have literally read out there in the office while they were watching everything go down. I mean, it must have been crazy. And it's still crazy to this day, I'm sure. And then he added that people are crying, panicking, leaving work early. Trans people are talking about buying guns. People are passing out crisis support line numbers. It's complete chaos, he concluded. In a subsequent post, he added, I thought it would be only around 10% of the devs, but it's nearly 50%. It's crazy. That's insane. So wait, people are crying, panicking, leaving work early. If you leave work early because of somebody who won the election, yeah, you're fired. Like, seriously, get the fuck out. Trans people are talking about buying guns. That's probably not a good thing, statistically speaking. I really don't think they should have guns, but that's neither here nor there. This is not at all surprising given that Activision Blizzard as a company appears to have been indoctrinating its employees into woke ideology. In fact, the company's president, Bob Kochis, had an entire statement declaring that allegiance to the ideology on the company's diversity, equity, and inclusion website. He wrote the following: "For us to operate at the top of our game in both areas, it is imperative that we champion diversity, equity, and inclusion environment where everyone can show up as the best version of themselves, motivated and comfortable to push our thinking in all new ways. As we look at our player community, we properly reflect the diversity of our players in our teams, in our thinking, in order to exceed their needs and expectations as they connect in our incredible games," he added. He also stated this culture journey is one that never ends. We will strive to improve every day. This is an essential global team effort that we will continue to refine together. So again, guys, it's very clear that Activision Blizzard for a long time now has been drinking the Kool-Aid. And let's be honest, right? Let's be honest for a second. Why are they doing this? They have massive amounts of skeletons in their closet. Activision Blizzard had a multitude of lawsuits. It will make your head spin. All of them have to be based in sexual assault or some form of workplace misconduct. They have so many people that were going after them for a multitude of different things that this entire shield that they're trying to put up there right now is literally just that. It's a shield to try to protect them from any sort of criticism, backlash, or anything that might come out their way from these lawsuits, especially if these lawsuits ever get, past, if it ever gets to the point of discovery, essentially, which I don't think any of them have, because they all get settled outside of court because they buy people off, right? That's basically what it is. So them doing this and doubling down and tripling down on this nonsense, I'm not exactly very surprised to see this. Then it says the website also states diversity fuels innovation. So we're creating an environment where differences are embraced, valued, celebrated, and always welcome. Our best work comes from a culture in which our employees bring their authentic and best selves. And we work hard to create an environment that encourages and celebrates this belief. And we're proud that we have been recognized for our efforts, including being named one of the best places to work for LGBTQ equality by Human Rights Campaign Foundation's Corporate Equality Index in 2019 and 2020. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is basically just ESG. That's what they're trying to say. They have their little reports that they have to do that they fill out and they get scored on it. And they scored high because they do maximum shilling. That's all it is. And I don't know of anybody that is thoroughly impressed by the fact that they scored high on the Corporate Equality Index. I'm not exactly sure of anybody that takes that seriously outside of people who are actively getting paid to take it seriously. You have executives that get bonuses based off how high that score is, amongst a multitude of other things. So they're the ones that take it seriously, but everybody else, nobody gives a shit. So again, guys, Activision Blizzard is a prime example of what happens when you have a company that is all for the DEI nonsense, and then when their echo chamber gets shattered by Donald Trump or anybody like him, suddenly, heads want to roll, and now you have people melting down to the point where they're contemplating self-harm. It's absolutely insane. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate if you get to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.